All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're looking at a huge transformation that's already underway in Brazil's energy system. And this isn't just speculation. It's all based on the government's own official energy expansion plan looking out to 2035. We're talking about a fundamental flip in how power is made and used, moving away from giant distant power plants and literally onto the rooftops of our homes and businesses. So, let's break down how this is all unfolding.
To really wrap your head around the sheer scale of what's happening, just consider this one fact. In a single year, one specific type of energy source added more power to Brazil's grid than every single other source combined. That's more than big solar farms, more than wind turbines, more than everything else put together. So what is this powerhouse? And the answer is Solar Geração Distribuída, or GD as you'll hear it called. Basically, we're talking about solar panels on your neighbor's roof, on the top of the local supermarket, or out on a farm. This kind of small-scale, decentralized power added an absolutely staggering 9.5 gigawatts of new capacity in just 1 year. That's not just a trend, it's a total reshaping of the country's energy map.
I mean, just look at this graph. It tells the whole story. At 9.5 gigawatts, solar GD didn't just grow. It completely dwarfed the expansion from huge centralized solar farms and massive wind projects. It's not just growth, it's a full-on revolution happening from the bottom up.
But just as this boom is hitting its stride, we've hit a major speed bump. There's a new law, passed back in 2022, that's completely changing the rules of the game for anyone who generates their own power. And it's creating this big cloud of uncertainty that's starting to hang over the entire industry.
So what's the issue? It really just boils down to how you get paid or credited for the extra solar power you send back to the grid. It used to be simple, a one-for-one swap. But now, we're in this messy transition phase where you're slowly being charged more and more for using the grid. But here's the real kicker. After 2029, nobody knows. The rules haven't been written yet. And that uncertainty makes investing in a long-term project a huge gamble.
And let's quickly look at that fee I just mentioned, the TUSD. It's basically your ticket to use the power lines. Now, look at this chart. See that massive blue slice? TUSD distribution, the cost of the local distribution network. It's almost half the fee. So when the new law says you're going to start paying that part of the bill again, you can see how that dramatically changes the math for rooftop solar.
And don't think for a second that this is some far-off problem. The official report says it in black and white. This question mark about the future is already putting a chill on investments that need to be made today. I mean, think about it. Would you sink your money into a project that's supposed to last 25 years if you have no idea what the rules are going to be in just 5?
So, with this new rulebook and all this uncertainty, a hero enters the story. And that hero is the battery. It's really the key piece of the puzzle that can solve two huge problems at the same time. First, the obvious one, that the sun doesn't shine at night, and second, it helps you sidestep the financial hit from those new grid rules.
What we're talking about here is called behind-the-meter storage. It sounds technical, but the idea is actually super simple. It's just a battery system on your side of the electric meter. So instead of selling your extra solar power back to the grid for a credit you're not sure about, you just save it in your own battery to use later. You get to control your own power.
But you know, these batteries are so much more than just a backup for blackouts. They're like a Swiss Army knife for the power system. They make solar power flexible and useful at any time. They let you use your solar energy long after the sun goes down. And they even help make the entire national grid more stable for everyone by smoothing out the peaks and valleys in demand. They're a genuine game changer.
Okay, this all sounds great, but let's get down to the bottom line. The question everyone's asking. What does this mean for my wallet? Is this technology actually something a normal person or business can afford?
And let's just be real about it. The upfront cost is pretty steep. Right now, in 2024, a typical home solar system runs about 11,700 reais. If you want to add a battery to that, the cost more than doubles, jumping to over 31,000 reais. That's a serious investment. But that's only part of the picture. Because that sticker shock we just saw, it's a temporary problem. Why? Because globally, battery prices are in an absolute freefall.
They've already been cut by more than half since 2017, and the official forecast expects them to drop another 45 to 57% by 2035. The price is coming down, and it's coming down fast.
So where does that put us today? Well, for a business, especially one that's using a loud, expensive diesel generator for peak power, switching to a battery is already a smart move financially. It's competitive. For a homeowner, the math isn't quite there yet. Unless those new rules after 2029 make sending power to the grid a bad deal. If that happens, storing your own energy suddenly becomes the obvious financial choice.
Okay, so let's zoom out one last time. Because this isn't just about saving money on an individual bill. The combination of rooftop solar and batteries is paving the way for a completely new kind of electrical system, one that's smarter, way more resilient, and frankly, more democratic. We're talking about a future with things that sound like science fiction but are becoming real. Things like microgrids, where your whole neighborhood or a critical hospital can just disconnect from the main grid during a blackout and keep the lights on. We'll see so-called virtual power plants, where thousands of home batteries and even electric cars are all linked together to act like one giant power station. And yeah, your car won't just be for driving, it could actually earn you money by selling its battery power back to the grid. So what this all means is that we're moving from a world where we're just passive customers of electricity to one where we can be active players. Energy is becoming personal. It's becoming interactive. Which really leaves us with one final big question to think about. In this new energy future, what role are you going to play?